This last meditation will close out this program, and it's called Coming Home to Happiness. It's interesting, with all the different methods, tools and skills and perspectives and so forth we've covered, sometimes it can make a person think that they have to almost manufacture happiness. They have to sort of tweak the instrument panel of their mind in all these very careful and nuanced ways to make it really, really work properly, kind of like tuning a cantankerous Ferrari or something like that. It's really easy to go out of alignment. And it's actually not really true. For one, the natural resting state of the brain, your brain, is calm, contented well-being. In other words, consider when you feel rested and not threatened, not in pain. What kind of a person are you? You're probably really pretty decent. Consider most people when they're not in pain, they're not threatened, they're not frustrated, they're not angry, they're not disappointed. What are they like? They're usually pretty nice, really. And it's interesting that the fundamental resting state of the body-mind is directed by the parasympathetic wing of the nervous system. This is the rest and digest wing. And it's part of the nervous system that, called the autonomic nervous system, that regulates the organism's response to changing conditions. It's kind of like the fundamental thermostat setting of your body-mind. And the complement to the parasympathetic nervous system is the sympathetic nervous system, the fight or flight, stress response system. It's interesting that if you surgically disconnect the sympathetic nervous system, which sometimes you have to do in extreme conditions, the person can still be alive. In other words, they won't be very good in a near accident on the freeway or in the middle of some kind of argument with a neighbor, but they'll be able to function and live and continue to exist. But on the other hand, if you surgically sever the circuitry of the parasympathetic nervous system, within minutes the person will die. Because this part of your nervous system, calm, soothing, resting, digesting, is fundamental to what keeps you alive. It's actually more fundamental than fighting or fleeing, calm, contentment. So in that sense, right there, in your own body-mind, your natural condition is calm and contented. Second, deeper than that, in your own experience of doing the meditations, you probably got a sense, if not a lot of senses, of the nature of awareness itself. Isn't it interesting that awareness itself does not cling? And awareness itself actually has a subtle kind of kindness toward the sense objects that it forms. So here we have, even more profoundly, a fundamental ground of being that has an innate peacefulness, non-clinging, non-suffering kindness, awareness itself. And then, perhaps, going even one step further, many people, including myself, have a sense that there's an underlying, ultimate, transcendental ground of being in which everything arises. Call it God, call it the great mystery, call it by whatever name, and that our deepest, most fundamental nature rests in that ground. And if that's true for you, and it's okay if it's not, but if you have any sense of that, that's another way as well to feel that our fundamental home is happiness. Unfortunately, so many things tend to drive us out of this home, this true nature of happiness. And two of the biggest are worries about the future and regrets about the past. So in this meditation, which will close out this program, we're going to, at least to some extent, let go of those things, worries about the future, regrets about the past, and rest ever more deeply in your true home, which is happiness.